All right, y'all. This Tuesday, y'all, about 6 o'clock. A beautiful day in the city. A little windy outside, but today we're gonna bring the heat. My name is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. My man Dusty Vision. This is how we do it, y'all. This is how it will be done. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve after dark to concerts in the park. You live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop. We do this every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, sometimes Thursday. But today, we right on time, right on the proper date. In the meantime, let's get ready to get busy, folks. What up, Dusty?
Lonzo, what up, my man?
Man, I'm doing cool.
What
I
up,
can't
Dusty?
complain about nothing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yo, check this out, man. I saw the picture of you and Dre. That was a nice surprise to see going down my timeline, man. How did that come about?
I was invited to the ribbon cutting of the Compton College last week, man. It was a hell of an event. Compton rolled out the red carpet, the ribbon, and Dre was on the stage, and I was in the audience. I said, "Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let this brother get this close," and I update our pictures. And I walked to the stage and held my arms out. He threw his hands up. Oh shit! And it was on and cracking, man, just like old times. He said on the stage because it was for security reasons, but we were able to get some good shots, man. It was really surprising. And the DeMar DeRozan was there, and when I turned around, what up, OG? I mean, DeMar DeRozan's dad, Frank. We go back real way back, so it was a good look for the city of Compton that day, man. I was glad that Dre was made it. Jimmy IV, and I connected with him. So yeah, it was. I got some other plans for them cats. I'm working on something that could be a big deal for Dre if he jumps on it. And Jimmy Iovine, like I said, I got him what I needed, and I got Dre what I needed. I got connected. So hopefully, in due time, this thing will manifest to something big.
That's what's up. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Dr. Dre and Compton leaders celebrated opening of new high school and performing arts center in the city of Compton. A ribbon cutting ceremony was held Thursday for the grand opening of a $200 million campus for Compton High School. The event featured an appearance by hip hop mogul and Compton native Dr. Dre, who donated $10 million for a performing arts center. The new 31-acre campus for the nearly 120-year-old school will serve more than 1,800 students and feature a 140,000 square foot academic building, a 36,000 square foot gymnasium, a half-size Olympic pool, and enhanced landscaping with California native plants. What were your thoughts, man, when you heard about this school being built? Did you know anything about the new high school before it was built? And what are your general thoughts about it after?
Oh, by all means. It's right by City Hall. Compton High School is right off of vacation, right by City Hall. So I was always passing by there, and I damn near watched him build. I wish I could have put a GoPro out there in slow motion or something just to watch him over the last few years put that place together. But again, I didn't think about it till today. Anyway, it was always something that was been controversial, man. Believe it or not, because Compton is a real nostalgic city, man. It's real nostalgic, and a lot of people had a lot of love for the former high school, and it was really a challenge to upgrade to what we have right now. In fact, the day of the event, I even had conversations with people who thought they should have kept the old facade for some reason, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. It wasn't gonna fit. It wasn't gonna work. I've seen people try to do old facades with new buildings, and it just don't quite work. There's a lot of love, a lot of pride for Compton High School. The Tar Babes have a lot of pride, and I'm an Apache. I went to Centennial, so maybe I don't have the same sentiment that they do, but nonetheless, it's a lot of sentiment, a lot of love for Compton High School. That was originally let me think. Yeah, Compton High School was originally Compton College, if I'm mistaken. So you got generations of people who supported that place over the past 100 years plus. So, yeah, a lot
Nice.
of love, a lot of love.
What is a tar baby? I've always wondered that. I looked it up a long time ago, but I can't remember. What is a tar baby specifically?
Man, Tartars is the actual name of the Tartars is like a little if I'm mistaken, it's like a little bitty.
It's a figure made out of tar, most famously from Uncle Rick.
Huh?
A tar, difficult problem. There's a bunch of them. Keep going, yeah, because I see a few different definitions.
Like an Indian something. I don't I'm in the line, but I know the tar babes come from tartars. Tartar. That was a big issue with Compton High School and Compton College, because Compton College is tartars. No. Hold on. They're connected, but they're not connected. Put it that way. And Compton High School became the Tar Babes as a junior version of the Tartars. That's all I can tell you. Anything else, I'll be fishing and lying. I ain't gonna do that because I'm gonna get jammed up the next time I see somebody from Compton. They serious about their tar shit. Okay, don't mess with that. I know what an Apache is. I know a Tar Babe is a derivative of a Tartar, and Tar Babes had a sword and some other stuff that like warrior. I think it's a warrior. I think some kind of little warrior. Yeah. I think a Tartar is a warrior. But again, don't hold me to that. I ain't gonna hold on. I'm not gonna stick to it. I'm just gonna drop it out there. If somebody knows something better, please correct me today.
Oh, you know they will. They love to correct you in the chat. You could be one little thing off, 1 month. It was April, not May. Like, God damn, my bad. That was 45 years ago.
Yeah, you got it. So yeah, it's all that.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, but I'm frozen on the screen, so I'm gonna log off and log back on. But before I do that, I want to ask you this question, Lonzo, and you can answer it while I'm trying to figure out what's going on over here. But I follow a few Compton pages on Facebook, and as with what happened when Eazy Street was official, there are Compton residents who are upset. They're not too excited. They felt the money should have gone to other areas in Compton that need help. Namely, I've seen things, potholes, graffiti removal, street signs that are falling off of light poles, just to name a few. What do you say to the people of Compton who aren't quite thrilled about this new high school? Go ahead and say that, and I'm going to go ahead and log out and log back on.
If you're not thrilled about the high school because you think the money should have been spent on potholes and lights and trees, that's because you don't know shit about politics and how Compton works. Compton High School, Compton Unified School District has nothing to do with the city of Compton. They share the same geographic area, but they are totally separate entities with totally different budgets. Just like Compton College has a different budget than Compton High School. Compton City has a different budget from Compton Unified School District. The three entities are not connected. The streets of Compton cannot be fixed by money from the Compton Unified School District. Obviously, you don't know the civics of Compton and how it operates. So you cannot get upset because they built a $200 million school and mad because they got potholes, because the two are not related. And that's the problem with so many people. And I've seen this over and over again at city council meetings, where people will speak out of turn because they don't understand the civics of Compton. The Compton City Hall is controlled by the Compton City Council. Compton Unified School District is controlled by the school board. The college has another board, and the three entities, they only share the address of Compton. They don't share budgets. They don't share anything. Everybody works independently. And if you look at Compton right now, go down Wilmington, you got all type of construction being done because they're listening to the people of Compton to make these things happen, but you can't make them overnight. They didn't get fucked up overnight, so they ain't gonna get fixed overnight. It ain't gonna happen. But they are making efforts to make things happen. And no matter what you do, if you fix Wilmington, somebody gonna get mad because you ain't fixed Long Beach Boulevard. You ain't got the hookers yet. Can a brother fix? Can I please fix one thing at a time? And I can see the frustration in members of the city council, because no matter what you do, somebody always got a problem. And that's a perfect example. Obviously, you don't know anything about the civics of Compton. Understand the game before you criticize the players.
Bam, there it is. I remember seeing not so positive comments. Mostly it was positive, but I seeing not so positive comments when Eazy Street became a thing. You know, we see the comments in the Facebook groups and, you know, people making sly remarks about Eazy Street. It shouldn't be a thing. But were you privy privy personally to any backlash that the public doesn't know about for your
Yeah.
involvement in making Eazy Street a thing?
Hell yeah. Yeah. You got treating him for dope dealing, murdering. Where he kill? Oh yeah, man, it was amazing, dude, because my former partner, when I was running the newspaper, we fell out behind it. We fell out completely. Hey, man, I wanted to put Eazy Street on the cover of the newspaper. He said, no, I'm not putting that murderous son. I said, I'll tell you what you do. If you don't put him on the cover, you count me out from this point out, because I can't roll with somebody that close-minded. I can't do it. I personally looked this brother up. He ain't got no dope cases. He ain't got no murder cases. He ain't got no gun cases. Eazy was clean as a whistle, man. He talked a gang of shit, but he never got caught. And that's all that matters when it comes to the eyes of the law. If he did something, he didn't get caught. You can't convict him on suspicion, or you can't convict him on his music. You can't convict him on the clothes that he wore, where he hung out at. Bottom line is he has never been arrested for any of that shit. And that's real talk. Because I got tired of, man, you know, this nigga did this back. Where's the records at? Where the police record? Where is some evidence that what you're saying is true? I can't verify if you even knew the brother or not. So yeah, I definitely caught some feedback. I caught some a lot of negative feedback, dude. Yes, I did. I sure did. But I prevailed anyway.
Now it's a thing. What if you had a magic wand? And I've asked you this before, but might as well ask you again since we're talking about Compton. If hypothetical world, you had a magic wand, boom, and could fix some of the things in Compton, what would you do to make Compton a better place to live?
I would try and get people to understand how civics work and how it is a community effort. It's not just a city council. It's not just a school board. It's not just a college board. I had this conversation today. $200 million, $10 million from Dre, and another $190 million from various fundraising opportunities. Will that stop people from writing on the walls? Will that stop somebody from putting their name on the wall? Little Puppet, so-and-so from West Side, whatever, East Side. That's going to stop them from writing on the walls? I hope it does, but will it? That's the question. You would think it would. You would think somebody would not want to be the asshole that writes on a $200 million, brand new $200 million building. But somebody's going to find it necessary to put their name someplace. And that is part of the problem that we're trying to solve by having something new. When you got something raggedy, yeah, if you don't care, why do I? But somebody spent a lot of money to put this place together, man. A lot of money. Will it affect the mindset? I hope it does. Will it affect the mindset? You know, if there is some folks that don't care what you put in there, they're gonna still be them, and that could be a problem. You take them to the most nice hotel in the world, they're gonna steal the soap. That's what they do, and that has no color bearing. That's just people in general, man. So I hope by attempting to put something nice in the city that people can be proud of, that we will uplift within ourselves and appreciate, and give it the appreciation that it deserves. That would be a great thing. I mean, it's a beautiful campus, man. It's top notch. Everything top notch. They haven't spared any expenses whatsoever, dude. None. Top notch all the way. If you don't show up, you can't take advantage of it. You still got to go to school. 1,800 students capacity. That's a lot of kids, man. 1,800 with multiple tennis rackets, half of an Olympic swimming pool, and a performing arts theater with recording equipment, the whole 9 yards. If you want to do it, it's there for it to be done. Ain't no excuses. And a lot of times people use things like that as excuse. Oh man, I didn't go to so and so because of this. I didn't do that because of that. All right, excuses been removed. Now what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Excuses have been removed. And it ain't because of the quality of the equipment. I have been to Compton High School before it was restored. It had issues. It had issues. I would, for example, my buddy was he was the art director over there, and I would do presentations for the class, and shit, man. most of the computers couldn't even type a full letter on it because half the damn keys was gone. I see that with my own two eyes, man. You couldn't write certain letters, because the keys was gone. And computers is old as shit. Them old Macs, little with the little small ones with the disk drive, and still had 3.5-inch floppy disk in them. Come on, man. So yeah, Doc, that no more excuses. And here's the cold part: they did Compton College first. So Compton College is Compton High School is now a part of the plan to people to migrate to Compton College as they constantly upgrade their programs. They just got a brand new building. Compton College is about to be the only school in LA County that for a junior high school a junior college that has a place for you to stay on campus. They catering to that. That's just designed to cater to kids who've been in foster care, who ain't got nowhere to go. When they go to college, you ain't have to be on the streets while you go to college. I just talked to one of the security guards at Compton College the other day. Compton College got a program that goes on the streets of Long Beach Boulevard and get the young ladies off the streets, put them in school, and help them get away from pimps and get out their street life. You don't hear about that in the newspaper, man. You hear about it in my newspaper, but you don't hear about it in places. Compton, there's a lot of people in Compton got great hearts, dude. But a lot of people are so stuck on negativity. Without negativity, they don't have no existence. That's real shit. There's some people that's stuck on negativity. Okay? They stuck on negativity, and without negativity, they have no existence.
Ooh, that is deep, man. That's deep. Let's talk about high school, Lonzo. Tell everybody what year you entered Centennial High.
1972.
72. Okay. That was a very interesting year there for a lot of reasons. What was Centennial High School like in 1972? Give us a breakdown of what you would see when you enter, just the vibe, everything like that.
Everybody came through the main hallway. Centennial had a main hallway. If you lived behind the school, they had some gates you can come through. But me and my fellows, we lived across Central Avenue, so we came through the front. You came, had to pass the hall, and then right past the hall to your right was the library, and they had a little quiet area in front of the library, and in front of that they had some little area you can sit down at and kick it. We always stood up and just kind of watched everybody go by. Then there was another big quad area, open air quad area, and then right next to that it was a senior square, and they had benches at the senior square, and that's where all the seniors hung out at. And there was a little walkway, and then there was a senior square. Then behind the senior square was the gym, and it was just a lot of leather jackets back then, man. A lot of leather jackets, a lot of Stacey Adams. A lot of starch, because everybody wore starch Levi's, and hats. We wore hats to school, man. We looked like Cooley High in the 10th grade, dude. We looked like an episode of Cooley High, for real.
Okay. All right. So we have Centennial High, we have Compton High, and we have Dominguez High. And I do believe they were all around in 1972. What was the difference between each school? You know what I mean? Was there a difference? Did the hotter girls go here? Did certain type of girl go here? Was there Crips at this whole school? Was there Pyrus all at this school? Talk to us about all the different schools, high schools in Compton.
Centennial was primarily Centennial had a little bit of both. We had Pyrus, we had Crips. We had Pyrus lived right off of Central Avenue. We had the Front Hood, and we had cats from Carver Park. So there was a lot of difference. Then we had a lot of guys on my side from Anthony's. So you had a kind of, back in the 70s, you had a little bit more of a balance. Far as I can see, you had a little bit more. And again, in 72, because some of them guys from Carver Park went to Vanguard. So we knew them. So we wasn't looking to fight. You know, it wasn't an issue with us. They went to Vanguard. Vanguard was pretty much all either red team or Carver Park. And you know, we know a lot of people from Carver Park, and it kind of made for a good inner blending for a while. And of course, eventually it got kind of crazy. But here's the crazy. I never had a problem with nobody from Carver Park or the Front Hood. My problem was with cats that were supposed to be on the same team. And I say same team, not because I was a gangbanger, because we lived in the same basic neighborhood. Okay. I never did gangbang, but I was, you know, you from a certain neighborhood, you automatically associated whether or not you affiliated. So the guys that I got into it with was not the guys for the blue team. It was, you know, I had cousins on the blue team. I got into it with the guys on the red team. The guys on the blue team, some of them was on my team. So it was just really crazy, man. It was a lot different. Compton was, to my knowledge, was primarily blue team. Compton's colors is blue and white. Centennial's is red and white. Compton and Dominguez is red and white. Dominguez, I don't know a lot about Dominguez, man, because Dominguez is on the other side of Compton. Centennial's is in the very tip of Compton. Going southeast, you got Compton High School, which is by City Hall. Then on the other side, damn near in Paramount, because technically, if I ain't mistaken, I think Compton High School, Dominguez might be in Paramount. Because
I think half of it's in Paramount. One of the entrances is in Paramount, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. My daughter lives in Paramount, and I got to pass Dominguez High School to get to her house anytime. So, but although it was Compton Unified School District, it still had that Paramount, Paramount connection, and it just, I don't know whether that was good, bad, or indifferent. You know, sometimes it was cool, sometimes it wasn't. I don't remember the interaction between Centennial and Dominguez that well. I know for damn sure Compton and Centennial hated each other. Any sport, anytime, homecoming, there's gonna be some shit. It's gonna go down. The security guards finna get some rehearsal today, okay? Whether it be throwing rocks at the bus, rocking the bus, fights in the stands, it's gonna be Centennial and Compton always had problems.
1972, and the best word I can think of right now is rough. Was Compton a rough place to live in 1972?
Not in 72. Now for me, again, dude, I did a lot of walking, man. You know, I kicked it with girls in the Front Hood. I met my baby mama in 73. I met her in 11th grade, and she lived by the airport. She went to Compton High School. And I visited her on a regular basis. You know, they stole my car, but that I didn't take that personal. That was just business. They stole my 63 Chevy, man, in front of my girlfriend's house. Parked it in the alley, took my crackers off, and took my steering wheel and my stereo. Got my car back about 3 days later. But yeah, that I didn't take that personal. That was just business. I rolled over there in the 63 Chevy with no cutoff switch, trying to be thinking it was cool, and it wasn't cool. They stripped my shit down, man, to the hubs. They found my shit, it was on crates.
Dang. All right, so you saw the difference in the city. Do you think you'd have had a different experience going to Compton High School from 1972, or if you went instead in, let's say, 1982? Was there a big difference in Compton in those 10 years? And do you think you'd have had a whole different high school experience?
Yeah. Most definitely, because the demographics of the schools, all the schools changed. Demographics changed completely. When I was in Centennial in 72, I only had like maybe 5 Mexican kids there, period. The whole school. May have been 5, and 4 of them was related. And I went back on campus shortly after that, and the ratio had changed considerably. In fact, I passed by Centennial today. I was going down El Segundo, and I looked at the bus that was loading up some kids to take them someplace, and it was hard to find the 4 black kids that I did see. So the demographics change throughout Compton Unified School District. The demographics have changed. So I would think by 85, it was definitely, that's 10 years after I left high school. Yeah, it was changing. It was changing. And it definitely probably would have had a impact on my social situation, because I probably would have had me a Latino girlfriend by then.
Why you say that?
I never had a Latino girlfriend. I didn't have a lot to choose from back then. I never had a lot to choose from. I was, like I said, with five was Centennial, and 3 of them was related, and 4 of them was boys. Well, 3 of them was guys. Okay, that ain't gonna work. Got to Gardena High School, it was a few more, but again, they kind of kept to themselves. And although I did a lot of shows for Latino groups, I just never got a chance to get in. I never had a chance to interact like that. Still to this day.
I remember you saying that in a past show. That's funny. You said, man, I love Latinos. They just don't want to share their girls, man.
Homes, get your ass, stay with your own homes.
That's hilarious. Talk to us about some of the cities that surround Compton and what you guys thought about them. Linwood, right next to Compton, Paramount, right next to Compton, Carson. What were your thoughts on those cities specifically when you were growing up in Compton?
Paramount was a dairy town. Paramount used to be raggedy than Compton for years. Paramount was not all that. Paramount is beautiful now. It is absolutely gorgeous. You forget you just outside of Compton. If you go through Compton and you go to Paramount, you forget where you're at. Downey was off. Here's the trip. If you go down Rosecrans, you're gonna run into Downey. If you go down Compton Boulevard, you're gonna run into Paramount. They that close together. Okay. If you cross the 710 freeway, you'll be on Rosecrans, you'll be in Downey, and Compton Boulevard, you'll be, or Alondra, you'll be in Paramount. And I remember as a kid going to Downey, my dad cut lawns in Downey. And once you crossed over the 710 freeway, or actually back then, yeah, it was 710 freeway, and you bust a right, it was all cows. Downey was predominantly a cow town, for real. Downey and Paramount was predominantly dairy towns. That's how, it was cow shit everywhere, okay? And it looked like an old city from the Midwest. From the Midwest. All the wooden fences and just cows and hills. Later that changed. You got rid of the cows. It's like the same thing with Ontario. Ontario was predominantly all cows. Carson came out the box fly as shit. Carson came with the first mall we hung out at. And the theory behind Carson had the prettiest girls. Dude, we get dressed to go to the mall, ain't got no money. We get put on our hard-soled shoes, go to the mall just to hang out, because I have $5 between all of us just to see what the girls look like in Carson, because Carson had the prettier girls. The Banning had the pretty girls. Carson had Carson had that upscale money that when you left Compton, you moved to Carson and you got you a pretty wife. You might have got you a pretty Catholic school girl wife because you had a little bit of money. Okay. And Carson always had that kind of vibe. Long Beach was one of them cities. You went down Long Beach Boulevard to the Pike and got your ass out of there as soon as possible. You can go to the Pike, but get your ass out of here. Okay. Linwood. My daughter's mom was from Linwood, and I hate to go to Linwood because Linwood sheriff was on your ass. They didn't play that shit. Okay, I'd go through the residential area. I would not go down the Imperial Highway to go to Linwood. Nope, I'd go to El Segundo. Once I cross Long Beach Boulevard is predominantly residential areas until you get, because Linwood starts on Long Beach Boulevard on this side of the 105 freeway. 105 wasn't built yet. So I refuse to go down the Imperial Highway. You might as well go on and just get out the car, put your hands on the hood, and wait for them to come and get your ass, okay? Because they come to get you. So I learned how to dip through the neighborhood to go pick up my girl. She lived right there on Century, and I would hit Century, pick her up, and she lived right by the on ramp. I hit the Century Freeway and the 710 freeway, and I'd be out of there. When I came back home, I'd come back home on the Century on 710 because where she lived at, there was an on ramp to the 710, but there was no off ramp. You had to get off on Imperial Highway or Rosecrans. I didn't want to do all that, so I'd sneak up there. But yeah, dude, it was something else.
We're halfway through the show, so I'm gonna ask everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. You are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. I am Dusty Vision. That is Alonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. Let's keep it pushing and talking about high school. And once again, if anyone in the chat has any questions, I'm copying and pasting them, and we'll get to them during the second half of the show. We're just gonna wrap up this high school talk here, but you know, what was your favorite thing about high school, and what was your least favorite thing about high school?
My favorite thing about high school, the Centennial. Oh man, my acting class. I love my acting class. That was the first time I met anybody who had vitiligo. My acting teacher had vitiligo, but she was super cool, and I love my acting class. By the time I got to Centennial, I had finished a lot of my what you call them, not your electives, but your mandatory classes. I didn't need a math class. All I needed was a couple of science classes. So I had a bunch. I had half my schedule was electives, ROTC, acting, homeroom, whatever the case may be. And I spent a lot of time. I think acting was my 6th period class, and I stay after school and just hang out. I met a lot of girls in my acting class. Yeah, that was fun. They taught us how to do that Hollywood kiss. Fuck that. Ain't nobody Hollywood kissing here. We did the Hollywood kiss for the grade, but shit, when the teacher wasn't there, we practicing on something else. Okay, whole different program. Okay, but yeah, and I liked ROTC too, man. ROTC was super cool, dude. In fact, I this last week, I got invited to Fleet Week down in Long Beach, and I was on board of one of the ships down there, and I had some ROTC flashbacks because we spent some time on ships in ROTC. That shit was a lot of fun too. Excuse me. But yeah, ROTC and acting was probably my 2 favorite things I did in Centennial.
Was your least favorite thing probably the last situation that made you leave Centennial?
My least favorite thing was science biology class, because I didn't want to cut the frog up. Man, I couldn't do that to the frog. I didn't want to cut the frog up, and the teacher gave me a pass on cutting the frog, dude. I got a pass on cutting the frog, and then that's when I started experiencing the stupidity of gang activity. It just got, man, come on, dude, we gonna fight over that? You ain't got nothing else to do but mess with me. I never understood that, dude. I never understood it. It just befuddled the shit out of me. Why do I got to make a life or death decision? Because I don't want you to punk me out of take my money. Nah. Yeah. That was the least favorite shit.
Yeah, you mentioned the story of Puddin and his boys. Are the reason that you left. But let's rewind a little bit before that. When's the first time you ever even heard anything about Crips or Pyrus?
At Vanguard, they were notorious because Vanguard was on the same street as Gompers. Gompers is on San Pedro and the Imperial Highway. Since Vanguard is on San Pedro and 132nd Street, and that's when they would come. We wasn't even tripping on gangbanging. Most of us wasn't, but they made a couple of trips to Vanguard, whooped some ass, and left, and that's when I started hearing about it, and that was my first experience even thinking about that shit.
What life lessons did you get growing up in Compton? What did growing up in Compton teach you that you carry to this day?
To be an innovator, don't be afraid of change, and take advantage of opportunities when nobody else thinks about taking advantage of them. You know, a lot of everything I've ever done, man. Compton was my first testing grounds. Everything I've ever done, DJing, video production, speaking, at Compton was my first testing grounds. Um, sometimes folks are reluctant to change, and that don't bother me like that. So when I have an opportunity to do something, and I learned, what I really learned is don't pay a motherfucker no attention, okay? Because they will talk you out of your future if you let them. People will talk you out of. You can't give big ideas to small minds. I'm not talking about the city in whole, but I'm gonna say in the 10th grade, I never forget. I came to Centennial with a fresh perm. My shit was laid like a sheet, okay? And the girls was all over my ass, man. Cause I had a big old Michael Jackson natural. I had that something got fried. My ears was covered. My shit was dope as fuck. And although it was a violation of ROTC, I didn't give a shit this week. I'm finna rock this Superfly. And some dudes from the front hood clowned the shit out of my ass. Look at this little sissy dude, blah, blah, blah. He called me all kind of F and gay. Oh, dude, I was all kind of sissies, dude. But the girls was loving me. The girls was loving me. And I went home and tried my best to wash that shit out of my head. You can't wash out a fresh perm. It ain't gonna happen. It has to grow. I mean, a fresh press and curl. It has to grow out. So my hair was toe up about a week or 10 days. I wasn't gonna cut it off, but it took a while for it to grow out. Man, I'm trying to grow my hair out. The same dudes that was talking shit to me got their shit fried the next damn week. The same dudes that was talking shit to me got their hair fried the next week. Guess what? When I saw them at the homecoming, their hair was still fried in 1985. 10-year reunion, they still got their hair fried. I said, ain't that about a bitch? So I realized people will talk you out of your creativity and steal it. Okay? That's no bullshit.
I like that. Now, let's see. Vistalite 1972 says, did you have a draft card?
You know what? I never got a draft card. I personally went into I went into ROTC in the event I got drafted. That was my whole purpose of going to ROTC. When I was at Vanguard, they let us know at Centennial we'll have our first year of ROTC, Junior Naval NJ ROTC, Naval Junior Officers Training Corps. If you take these classes, one, you won't have to you got to take gym, and two, if you are successful in it, in the event you are drafted, you can go into a potential officers training program right after boot camp, and you would get a head start on and getting some stripes. I'm like, well, shit, if I got to go, I want to go, first class, and that's why I joined ROTC. Plus, my old man was in the Navy. My dad was a Navy sailor, and he told me how the life of the enlisted men were different than the officers. Well, shit, that's like I can handle that, and I got a trial and got into it, and got into the leadership part of it, and did well. By the time I left Centennial, I was a battalion commander, 4 stripes on each shoulder, 4. Only person that had as many stripes as me in the state of California was a white dude over at USC. At Centennial, at the peak of my 11th grade semester or year, I had 265 kids at two battalions because ROTC had got so popular because you didn't have to worry about getting dressed for gym. I had one of the biggest battalions. I had two companies, 1 battalion. No bullshit.
1972 was the tail end of the Vietnam War. What was the general consensus of the Vietnam War amongst teenagers, specifically in your age range in 1972?
Scared of getting drafted. Because folks right before me, the year before me was going. They was getting drafted left and right. You're trying to figure out how you're going to avoid the draft. You're going to Canada. You're going to try and cop some illness. Folks was complaining. People start comparing problems. I mean, I got asthma. I ain't got to go. I got flat feet. I ain't got to go. And shit, some of the folks with asthma ended up going. Some people with flat feet ended up going. Then they just then they canceled the draft right before I turned 17.
What was that like amongst teenagers? What did you guys? That had to be a big discussion, right?
Oh shit! Oh, because Vietnam was probably one of the worst wars we ever been involved in. Because nobody liked it. I mean, you go to Vietnam fighting for your country. You come back a fucking pariah. You came back a pariah, baby killer. Dude. I'm over here doing. Nah, man. It did not get the same love that World War I, World War II got, dude. The Vietnam War was well hated. It was music about the Vietnam War. It was all kind of shit. Anti-protest. People was leaving, going to Canada. Cheech and Chong, what's his name? Cheech talks about that. That's why he left America and ended up in Canada hanging out with Tommy Chong. That was the move, dude, to go to Canada, man, get away from this shit.
Were any of your friends or family members drafted?
My cousin did not get drafted. He had a health issue. He ended up being a cop. None of my other cousins I can recall got drafted, man. None of my older cousins I can recall got drafted. Most of them had police records. You couldn't, you had to be a good kid to get drafted. You couldn't be a criminal to get drafted unless, and by the time this part came around, they had changed it. But by the time I got on to get drafted, they changed it. Because there used to be a time, if you was a knucklehead, you had one or two choices, either 4 years in jail or 2 years in the service. And then they changed it because they realized people was taking them 2 years in the service, but you coming out with benefits. You still got the same benefits as somebody that enlisted. You got college benefits. You got you got the GI Bill. You had all kind of things that you came up on, as opposed to locking your ass up and you coming out just another broke brother. But them 2 years changed a lot of cats, put a lot of cats up on some military game, put them up on some education game, some self-responsibility game, and then you get to go buy you a house and you get a GI Bill. Oh yeah, that was the game plan. Then all of a sudden, if you had a felony, you couldn't be in the service. So that it made it more honorable to be a serviceman because you had to be an upstanding citizen. Well, I thought just the opposite. That's the one that should be going in the first place. But hey, the sight game was a little bit different back there.
Are teenagers in 1975 the same as teenagers in 2025? And if not, okay, tell me, what do you think are the differences? Obviously there's technology and things that are involved, but we're just talking the general mental mind state of a kid in 1975 and a kid in 2025. What would be the main differences?
Discipline. You'd have to damn near kill a kid today in the service. If he didn't go in with any kind of discipline, take a raw kid off the streets and put him in the military. Somebody ain't never been disciplined in their life, don't know what it is to have to answer to authority. Man, the brig will be full of fools. We had basic understanding of authority. We had basic understanding of common courtesy. We didn't cuss out adults. We didn't do a lot of things back then, man. These kids nowadays don't know what it is to respect adults in most cases. They will, but somebody in your face calling you a maggot, man, you better get the fuck out of my face, fool, that bullshit. No, man, I don't see that happening. Unless you just want to understand the process of breaking somebody down to rebuild them. I think a lot of kids nowadays are they're too fragile. Although I'm gonna say this. When I went to that ship on last Wednesday, I was thoroughly impressed and shocked at how many young black men and women, Latino women, were at this ship. It was really really mind blowing, man. Because the guards. Let me break this. Since we talking about some military shit, let me tell you about what happened to me. I'm down there at the port, dead at the end of the port. Got a special line. Before I can get to the parking lot, I get greeted with 4 people with M16s. Okay, pull over here, sir. Open all 4 of your doors. We gotta search your car. They sent a dog up in my shit. Okay, now I got a couple of blunts. I got some leftovers in my car. I got a couple of leftovers in the car. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to jail out here with these goddamn dogs. Hey man, what are you looking for? He's looking for gunpowder and for bombs. Okay, cool. I'm good. Okay, we laughed about it. So I get to the gate. There go some more people with M16s. Okay, and the ship is about 75 yards from the gate. You're not getting on this ship without ID. They got 3 or 4 more people there with clipboards and M16s. If your name ain't on the list, you ain't getting on. And they couldn't find my name at first. So they made a couple of phone calls. Oh, God apologized. They let me up. And everywhere I went, there were youngsters, black, white, Latino. And I was surprised that the 2 Latino ladies that were standing there with the M16s, they got on fingernails and eyelashes, fingers on the trigger. Okay, I'm not bullshitting. They looking dolled up, ready to blow your brains out. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life, man. Then the sisters, they was on the ship. It was one sister, she was kind of running things. She got her braids in her hair. She got her nails on. And it was something I would never expect to see how rules have been relaxed to accommodate people. Because usually, man, when I was in the Navy and I was in ROTC, the few chicks we saw, man, they was homey as hell. And you see all these women and they got these tight suits on, these Navy pants on. And them things was holding on for dear life. I'm like, damn, this got to be a hell of a party when there's something you don't see. You can see how people can get in trouble. You got 2 bunch of youngsters. I'm talking about the tour guide that did our tour was 27. He looked about 22, maybe 19. He looked like a youngster. Everybody was surprised when he said he was 27. But as I'm watching and I'm looking and I'm seeing, it's a lot of girls. I mean, the male, the female ratio on this ship was very high. I mean, it was kind of even, dude. Unless they got some serious rules, this could be a ground for some puffy shit. They might not be using baby oil, they may be using motor oil, but they see some puffy shit go down this joint right here. It's real talk.
Hey, the chat is talking about what is it? Desert Storm. I was a little too young to understand it. You know, I was 91, 13. I got it kind of, but not really. Even to this day, I don't really know what happened. I know it was some funny shit going on, and there was some revenge apparently later on by Little Bush. But, you know, Jay Roos, Marlon was talking about he didn't know whether to get excited graduating high school and going to Grambling or be scared going to fight for oil back during Desert Storm. I do remember there was draft talk around Desert Storm also. I know it never happened, but what do you remember about Desert Storm and that whole time, and that whole buildup?
I remember George Bush, baby Bush, he was talking about it was over with 2 weeks after they after they kicked it off. He was on the ship talking about victory. And everyone, who the fuck what you talking about? We said we got guys that we're doing shit. It was. I remember saying this. I remember doing this. I'm at the current affair, and I'm one of them DJs. I tell jokes. I talk shit, and I was on the microphone and I said something to the effect that the war kicked off, and I'm glad my old ass ain't got to go or something like that. And what I didn't know, it was some brothers that was supposed to ship out a couple days later, and I felt bad as shit because I was joking, but I forget, I didn't realize somebody was in the room that shit was going to affect. Okay. And I had to apologize, man, because, for somebody to hop on a ship, plane, whatever the case may be, and pick up a M16 or hop into a tank or whatever the case may be, and risk his life for our version of democracy is saying a whole lot. And it just it hit me a different way when I said that. Then I realized, oh shit, somebody don't feel the same way I do. I need to shut my ass up. So I did. And again, it was just, we was cool. But I was speaking from an old man perspective. I said, I can't come get me. I'm too good. After 36, you can't go. I think the age limit, 17 to 36. I'm like, I'm 40. I ain't going nowhere. Okay. And there was some youngsters in there. They was about to ship out the next day. They weren't in uniform yet, but they signed up on the buddy pass.
So you're talking about, I believe the one in early 2000s. What do you remember about 91? What was that? Wasn't that Desert Storm 91? The first Iraq Kuwait thing?
What was the Desert Storm after? No, Desert Storm. What did we go to? I thought Desert Storm was over 91. No, could have been.
No, yeah, 9/11 was 2001, but yet 91 I think is when Desert Storm. Yeah, 91 Desert. I think it was Desert Storm. I could be wrong, but
dude, don't start me to lie.
Yeah,
I do. Remember.
I just remember the technology. I just remember they had all the green. I just remember every night I turned on the TV, they just had missiles shooting in the air, and it was like a very
yeah. It had scuds flying everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. I think I had a club then, but it was. Man, I didn't really pay that one too much attention. I just knew me and my buddy was talking about the Scud missiles. We made a joke out of it. If it get scudded tonight, and that was our joke. If it get scudded, they fucked around there and pissed off Bush. If it get scudded, and that was the only thing I can recall. Just our little inside jokes that we had about how many missiles, how much the missiles was costing. Because them Scuds ain't cheap. Scuds are not cheap. Okay. And the same thing I picked up, I learned the other day on this ship. There's an anti-aircraft carrier gun that has 9 or 12 barrels on it. And he was talking about how they go on maneuver sometime and just practice different shit. And they said, this one right here, we don't practice on because it costs too much to shoot it. I asked him, how much do the rounds cost? $1 million a piece. $1 million per. So every time they shoot this, something going to cost $9 million. And you wonder why the Pentagon budget. This is just one ship. This ain't the whole fleet. This is one ship. It costs $9 million. Being in the bottom of this ship remind me of a scene in Avatar when they was down there with all those robots that was walking robots. It was like that. They had tractors. I mean, you got tractors chained to the ground. You got helicopters inside chained to the ground. You got what's the Harrier aircraft, the ones that like helicopters and they take off. They got them chained outside on the deck. And it reminded me of a scene from Avatar when they was walking downstairs into the core of the ship, and you see all this different machinery that they had. Because everything in the Navy is made out of steel, and everything is heavy. Everything is heavy, so you have to be very careful in dealing with that shit, man. It was very interesting, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's finish it off with a question from Matthew Perry. Says, Lonzo and Dusty, what are your general thoughts about the current P. Diddy court case and trial? I've been keeping up here and there. Have you been keeping up with it?
Yeah, I've been following it, Doc.
Okay, right. Break it down. What do you know? What's your thoughts up so far? Is Diddy cooked? Do you think he's gonna get off?
You know what? I don't think he's gonna get off, Doc. He got a RICO case, and a RICO case gives people a blanket policy over your ass. So again, it ain't no crime to be a freak. And he, boy, damn sure a freak. Okay. But you can't allegedly blow up people's cars. You can't allegedly force people to have sex with people that they don't want to have sex with. You can't do certain things. Yes, she was there for 10 years, but that's that same mentality that a lot of hookers have, a lot of prostitutes have with their pimps. They want to make daddy happy. And daddy and Diddy is the same person, okay? She wanted to make Diddy happy, so I'm going to go do this right here. And like I said, you can't be a 10-year, it's hard to be a 10-year victim, okay? It's hard. But again, this goes back to that stuff, the same thing we talked about with R. Kelly, how people for money will put themselves in positions to be taken advantage of or to be used or to be, whatever the case may be, just to get paid. And she liked that attention when she wasn't out there knocking down male strippers.
Oh yeah.
When she was knocking down the Punisher and other guys, she was on the red carpet with Puff Daddy. Okay. People, I think he may have had that Jeffrey Epstein / Hugh Hefner thing going where he would get people videotaped and compromise the position to give him power. A lot of what they did at the Playboy Mansion, and I'm willing to bet you the same thing at Epstein Island. Folks was videotaping, and it kept people, hey man, I need this check. Oh, okay. You want me to shoot you over video number 9? You and that so and so. Oh no, how much? What do you want me to see that check? So you got people playing power games. Hugh Hefner did the same thing. He never had a problem. And everybody went to the Playboy Mansion, man, except for Lonzo. I ain't never been to Playboy Mansion. But everybody at that time in the 60s and 70s, if you didn't go to Playboy Mansion, you wasn't a player. And then comes Epstein Island. He was offshore, so he had his own, pretty much had his own government damn near. He saw you coming on radar for you can bust him. Hugh Hefner, he had everybody, the chief of police, the district attorney, everybody was hanging in his pad. Okay. Puffy, he had a lot going on. He got one problem. He was black. That was his problem. You can't play the same games. I don't care what you say. You can't play the same games. You can't do it. You can do it for a while, but you might have the wrong person on tape. That could be a problem. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying you might have taped the wrong person and tried to pull that bullshit with the wrong person. And this could be your demise right here. Will he get cooked for it? I'm quite sure he ain't going home no time soon. How long I can't speak on that. I'm not a lawyer, but I do believe he gonna be at Gray, gonna be for real by the time he get up out of there.
That's the saddest part about seeing these celebrities behind bars is when that Just for Men just grows out and that Gray comes in, baby.
Yeah. You like, that's Puffy, shit. He got on school teacher clothes now. He think like a school teacher with the little sweaters on and shit. Oh, where your feathers at, bro? Ain't no feathers in prison, okay? Ain't no Sean John in prison.
That hurt, man.
Huh?
That hurt when I saw that with the Gray. I was like, dang, man, that's the realness of life right there, baby.
Well, that's part of the game they play, man.
Yeah. They'll
let the Gray go out. They'll put a Bible on the table. They'll start praying. They'll start doodling in them on them notepad. Oh, they do all kinds of stuff to try and get sympathy. But see, here's the bad part. When you was doing all that dirt, you didn't give a fuck about no sympathy. You didn't care about nobody but yourself.
Yeah.
And again, that's not a crime, but you hurt a lot of people. A lot of people got hurt messing with you. And I think that's why he gave back to publishing after all this time. But like they said, the publishing wasn't worth nothing.
That's right.
By the time
samples.
It was already you in the era of streaming. Publishing don't mean nowhere near like it used to. It don't have the same effect as it used to. Streaming don't pay the same kind of money that celestial radio did. BMI does.
Damn, there it is, man. The show flew by. Any last words before you hit him with that outro, Lonzo?
Oh man, Gemini season, folks. We're about to make this happen.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday to my man Dusty.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's get up out of here, folks.
Go on and hit him with it.
For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer till he got cold. On the eve after dark, 50-yard lines the Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that bullshit, because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for not without Lonzo. Peace, y'all. We out. That peace.